This is Chariot TV.
Akwaba Yefreme Jonathan Mensah Bonsu, and 25th November 2023. And then Yebuso or Chariot TV. So now you media actually say straight talk on Chariot TV. Anna Yedebra wo Midiani Jonathan Mensah Bonsu, na Midi Jumedia Chame. Now they are discussing part 1, part 2, part 3, and then a part 4 of that section. And no one sem Anna Yebisuya and one day. The preacher and his work or Sempakenino any the Juma. Now to follow ye kakra unim say sanema we they are discussing ho pa ye. Now yesua de ye kan ekwe hwan ne Sepakeni ana ye kwhwe ye kasa Sepakeni a na Juma anything inti adonsu ko ahwehwe Sepakeni adwuma mu yi. Ana last week no abra ye kro no ye di kan ekire de ni kire kakra tetete ho na ho ne be sa sha ase free. Ye sha ase a ne ye hwe Sepakeni na kwan obefa so a obetimi ensusu atena na waye na dwuma yi eye sikasem ho dwuma na last week na ye kan live show into drop a comment in the comment section na ibi hunu ni aka ma na questions so a ya buta ma na onsusu yetimi eyano ma yeah, live on YouTube, live on Facebook, and live on Twitter. I find it excellent. In the modern say what joining in, I just click on the like button and share. Just click and share. You click and share. You can copy the link from your Facebook. So when the Facebook, you can copy the link from Facebook, drop it in a WhatsApp group. Send about our phones. No, I encourage our phones to join in. No, I'm so team abesua de every Chariot TV. The you may say a person Christo as some panel do the passumunti. A woman in be as a aquanya in a ever funny so. Bit many parties Christo as some panel. If you say young can't be panty. And a nipa betin so a original seven so abra ye can also be boa nama asem nakro. The more than click on the like button, the share the phones bit. And now subscribe to Chariot TV. You can subscribe. Just go on YouTube, search Chariot TV and click on the subscription button and hit the notification bell. We here see a send a link. We here see a send a link. Or call WhatsApp on so on WhatsApp on your WhatsApp channel. Yeah, Chariot TV or you just go maybe our status no one or channels just search Chariot TV. If you Chariot TV or your WhatsApp channel or with me so Arichi and now joining in entire channel no the beer course to be you see it from that interface now so it means so about amount so it me esua and then on the misani adwuma ebinya Richard Donko unya e ma akwaba e ba dwuma dey so
yeah
na pomwe
Nyame adumo na so e
menso mo ye no ye yeguso a ye kasa na yesua de fa Sepakeni na adwuma buta ne say pese afefo tie na omote ase na omonso timi eboa ma Kristo na safo etumpon na migidi se Sepakeni ni wa asafo no puntu ekachi asafo no puntu ekachi na Kristo asafo no ebekoso a ehia asepakafo enti ne agebra yesua ho ade last week no na ye kasafa sikasem ekwan Sepakeni no awo se ye hwe no na we na dwuma o ma yeti asese the dinkan asafo no a won patemu no the local congregation's responsibility take care of the preachers nti o mo na hwe asepakafo tete de sika de nyoma ohia honam fam boboa no na on so etima na dwuma ana o ma yeti ase bi o se edi wono individual asori man individual no betimi enso de wa hoden aboa emfa hon se bi aso na nkasa eboa Sepakeni no ama oye de dwuma but individually no who se sika about nsem na betimi de aboa no a ositimi de boa ama dwuma ne koso ana asori nso a asori nim bi nso a ya kese e wo krumu ne ade a omuhunu Sepakeni ne dwuma a wo ye no ebetimi de sika nso abeboa ama na dwuma a oye akoso ebia ene no ye pese me pese ye sha ase free sika sam no so because ye kan nyina no me bisu ehunu kakra me hunu ne se atro be sha ase wa asori mu a in some cases sika so because Sepakeni no se ne ho nto no a nobody sika be dada no a easy say on obekọ sa akwa no so enti sikasem no gina eboa ana aso no dwumadi nso bekọ so a sikasem ya enti yenhya se yensa no musuko bio sikasem no de obetimi dia keka ho ne bible gina so a opese ehwehwe ene de enti kwa ehia se etwa sempaka foka sometimes nipa bi adwen ne say well ye nyina ye preach Sunday bia ba ye nyina ye preach de na akafa ho
me da say mamfa konya we enchia wahwefo ne di kan say adesua yesua ne nipa bebre contact yen ebisa eje adwenkyere na edwumadi a ekọ akire eti dan na no yegina onyankopon asem so na ye kasa na last week ye be wie no me ka asem baako na mbese me de no so san hye ase ansa ne aba katwi asem no eso organization biara ni ho so chan the local church let's say ye de tu ekire. There is no organization which is bigger than the local church. We need the church approval. Now, many Jonathan will be beside my sembi na Mr. Mamfa Konya way so na addition yesu will be beside saying and who here sell or Bible college na because me can say and your Bible college na movie by yourself will be message or text him privately. Menkaze mo bia nkwaje Bible nim de enye sa na make na mo ne me twa adwene siso ne say the church is the greatest institution ever established ya onyankopon de abesi o san asafo no ho a enyeyi eje se ya mfa didie ni na ma church no na ye beyi ne say organization be so chain church no a Churches of Christ we are making a lot of mistakes. There is no organization greater than the church. I didn't say a chief for it no.
Mama enka ho ne bia emi o kakra. Okay, for instance, Bible college entimin kire say we Christian asafo na we Christian asafo. Enya omudwumadi no, they can't for say bia me mate Bible college then Christian asafo ya tete won pata mo local change congregation o si wa okra o mayi wudi afri Christian asafo homam. And as I when Christian asafo ni bia Bible college has not that need that authority to be going. They are not above supervising the works of the local congregations. They are not above that. They are not above supervising the work of local preachers. Say as a backup for year Juma baby, and omo supervise it. Omo nya body a omo ma obi license. So year Juma. Oh, send oko chibuto chika oko DVL say unya.
Yeah.
License no the Bible colleges are not like that. Sana Jesus na uchechi mu
more and the second thing I make and say nimdie de esu bia pe nimdie ba bia kwa kope onimdie ne de ba say ye nam Bible kwan so na ekasa onyankopon de adwuma hwo sempakani nsa se ono na entete asempakafo ne merema etumi kyerɛkyerɛ ya de no to nkyɛn a Bible baabia ni ho mesre ma menka sa de weni ensisu bia Bible baabia ni ho kasa Churches of Christ mantamu ekromu amanmu yenya one Bible college Bible baabia ni ho kyerɛ sa because ebi mu send the message na me pese me fa we so kyerɛ sa Bible baabia no kyerɛ sa a Churches of Christ you have one central Bible college and only the recognized one baabia ni ho onyankopon ede ne ntete ye ma asempakafo a ewo ensafo ahodoɔ emu eno onyankopon de adwuma na ama wo mu and we can have as many as possible Bible colleges and Bible training schools nemom ade a mekasi so bia ne sɛ Bible school a enhye local church ase no na why is a what din ho no ene Bible ne nkyerɛkyerɛ nkɔ me ba cho ehia ayade ehia me ye because nkyerɛkyerɛ na sesa institutions bi pagya wo Churches of Christ mu a omana so ye mpɛse ye bɛhyɛ asɔre bi ase ye de ho usua Bible no a all organizations must submit to the church, the local church, and to say ko bi man ho so na wo se won hye local church bi ase a me se ade ehu moma ye hwe ne ye so and so asempakani asori
metimasi ya for the self ebia Bible college bi and I say sorry local congregation bi wo na ebi omo de esi omani se pese omo tete asempakafo bebre na asempakafo no dɔɔso na Kristo na asempa ne koso e omo adwuma omo nso ma de esi omani se betimi aye aboa Kristo adwuma nti omo akɔpɛ asempakafo a omo nim de na ebi a omo bie ma school ase Bible school ase asempakafo no dwuma de nse omo tete mrema omo nso betimi aye adwuma sa Bible college no they are under the oversight of
the
oversight of the local congregation,
the local church. I didn't say no.
Or they na sudie say the meme metimi ayeni metimi di aboa ama ebia asempa na treni ene say meme de ene say moma asempakafo mra yentete wo mo na omo nko krujem but sa entete bia no ehye
the local church na say mo because the good me sisu na say me ba America me go say and church ni bebre sisen na a forming of organization that do not submit under any local church. I don't know if affected church no. Organization be a church members need become woman ya tikuo. Near the sika ye Kenya me asem. It sounds good, but local church be na ocean say all monitor the kind of teachings our church. Say ya man and pass of money trima and ne binu di nyanse didi Jonathan ma menka no kwasem we onim so onya fa Yesu din no ko atare won say a Church of Christ ni wo ka asem pa mo beta na chi a eno ano no amanfo di sika beba ba me be say e pa amanfo trimu say ye ntumi nsan local church ho enye biribi ye be say pa amanfo trimu no ye be say yesua ho ade na yesisu nyina no it is also do form organizations you are proclaiming the gospel is good, but which local congregation are you working with? The local church by now ocean asia all monitor wudumadi a wudie ene hia ena me pese ye tie na ye sisu biem enti ye ba sempakafo no so a ye na make ni na ne se makoje ntete you need the local church approval and sana what you mean abe because ukoye waduma na wo de emuaye beba yemma Church of Christ frontiers yes say preach so obey preacher have a local church and work with that local church and be yes what de ho na woni na munkrase na mo sresre sika sresre no ye na ya srebi but the question is a local church bay and as a preacher woni na ye adwuma na mom say am be kasa no kwasem we ya e bedroom mrebi no enu na kwa kofi fa churches bebre bie bo ho abrantie bi man ho so na akwhye no abie bi abrantie bi man so na akobie church no ye bie kwasa ekom de na no adwane gya ho meni wo kasa sesi a preacher bi ye bi awa America ha wakobie ba ko bi o ba bi wasore adwane gya ho church no kwa na ekof ma Ghanaian congregation wasore gya ho because church no betse tresem na se I says a church ni na nneema bi ho mo na e no be say koye na one man church ana church na anti ase ama and was say nneema adwan enti bia be say obi congregation as a preacher me back atua so but nneema bi sisi a ya nkasa ho a say church no me be say me a preacher ma wie Bible school ma be ye church bi agema tum say woni me be ye adwuma na say ofre won say me preachi our church ni me be say me ko be congregational baby please ye make can say any church na wo mun ntena se na omumwa ne ko bie that congregation since obe pia local church na si nchen na wo de wunyansa akwesere sisika o baabi ye beti an se wa ko bie nyankopon ahini na ama na trade but ye mfa kwan papa so said ye doctrines no ebetumi amenteni ne mum se de asori si nchen na manipa bi benya fa ho se ono atumi ye na ade a huma church na be se ye free ekrem. Eti adie bia ebeye bia no we should work with a local church. Yamra katua ne so. Eti yabe hu say church be brave betumi have a training school to train men. To train men. Eti ano de nimdie en de obia nipa be preacher bia betumi ayibi. Eti yembe yi sa ideology ni free etrim say say nya one central Bible school in the Bible.
Yeah, but
preacher bia qualifies to start a training school.
Yeah, I think
so
that
yeah.
That concept I had Ghana ye. America de minim ho asem.
Anyhow, I had you doing grand fama.
Ghana de high ye if you say book baby te Kumasi enye ade America enye secret nti me ka enye na me nkemye bone because me new obi atem. But so book Kumasi the stigma and say you have to be Ghana Bible College now so free. So if you Ghana Bible College, then they start seeing that they are starting church and money and simply because Bible College is need also. Then they start creating an issue. Into congregation beer. For instance, congregation beer. They ask whether are you from Bible College, Ghana Bible College, Ghana Bible College. Then they start becoming a problem. Oba Ankran has saying so. Your Heritage Bible Institute now. And sometimes say we are I don't know in Pempen so in Ghana Bible College in a sense of how Kumasi for Ghana Bible College because as a Ghana Bible College what much Tiama people know. So send you can Ghana ye say the concept has crept into even the ultimate core Bible College Krano onim
you muni say we sempakani
the ultimate core as ma make I've seen example onim de Watna church in one church na my church in church in any kakra no say no the force and pakeni na ama onipa na odena brabo esi ho e de ne bresi ho je asoro no tena se ebo a church le mema ye asempaka wura fiefie enwanu mo den ma afi enwanu mo bo ano no na afi ya beka che ne se ono nyose pakeni adenti a onko Bible College meanwhile the person no can say watna the Bible ho asua onim the Bible onim tire se botimi preach church em ama ni party ase otimi tete mema e wa so ni mo ye dwuma nanso na ya logo na sinchen se unya onko Bible College
I said the Bible College was specific one so one kokra nukra yen samfa Kumasi abonten e bi to me ni nipa bebre nje ana me twen ya just yesu ade ekono there are things we should change ye kan nukra na yen kan nukra nje every preacher a learned preacher make a learned amenka wiase ngomasu obi a wasua Bible ni ye biara na wo pe no wo pe no preacher wadwuma so tete mema you can start something and train men for them to also in future say church be approve or more they can also become preachers of the Lord's church until they make twetwen ya Jesus ni na say yes ya be preachers church be am my approval say yes we hear nyoma ne ya kukudro ni ya sempaka ya disua mu a ye betumi aye sempaka dwuma no ne ye adwuma one say who ye didiem yonko Romans chapter number 10 verse 14 last week yantumi anwuramu ye and be say rabbi Bible no bebre efa osempaka ni na katwia ho Bible no e kan say na esiti em be say ehwe ye rin kan hwe Romans chapter 10 verse 14 eba
Romans 10
verse 14
10:14 no say na how can I say how then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed and how shall they believe in him whom they have not heard and how shall they hear without a preacher and how shall they preach unless they are sent as it is written how beautiful are the feet of those who preach the gospel of peace who bring glad tidings of good things
mo eti ne say na afa ye beye den na obefred ye wonyinu nie nanso ebeye den na wobegi de wonte ye no ho asem no adie nanso se asempakafo eni ho a asempaka ni ho a ebeye den no obete nanso se wansoma wona ebeye den na obebo asem no ho dahuru said ye watchere say said ye nepa ehho asempakafo no anansi ye fefa na enye won nyina na wotie asempa no na Isaiah kan say awrade hwan na wagye asem no adi aha ye di mbese ye hwene say one oso bi besoma ye soma no so a ye soma na emma ne nase ye fe it is mamika say a proverb anase kasakwa ya no de kire ne say ye ma no de bema na kwantuo ni dwumadi a wo yo no ebetumi abe ewie per na won koso kwan mu ma na ba mu mu ewo asempaka na wo ye de all kan evi Bible na chese obi na besoma Jonathan me no wo soma me a se menkwaje ade okumase mro wo tema menkokumase nkwaje na wakoma me ka iska 10 cedis wow nim say akra to kumase ya anyekra beji me bia 90 cedis or 100 cedis
100
obese me kwaya na me ba na soma na so ba so say second question na me busa man for is when na small sempakani nyame na asoma ide but through who? Through who? Through the church, the local church. It is a local church, you know. Mo beti as say, and na mo sempakani no so na nipa e beti asempane dia. Bible say mo hwe na mo hwe ni ye. Mo hwe na mo hwe ni ye. It was your smafo. And yes, and hotchron. Yan fa no so to why. Yan Corinth, 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 3, verse number 11. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse number 11.
Say, if we have sown spiritual things for you, is it a great thing if we reap your material things? If others are partakers of the right over you, are we not even more? Nevertheless, we have not used this right, but endure all things lest hinder the gospel of Christ.
Verse 13.
Do you not know that those who minister the holy things eat the things of the temple, and those who serve at the altar partake of the offerings of the altar? Even so, the Lord commanded those who preach the gospel should live from the gospel.
You already read Paul making an argument in Edeba. Wa many Bible say was sempakani dua honhom aduane. And Paul ebusa say ye dua honhom fam nneoma emaamo a. Eye ade a eso say ye bebu honam fam nneoma afiri mo ho. Paul na ebusa wo say mamam honhom aduane, mamam Nyankopon asem a. What is wrong for me to request a physical things from you? Yes, some bono kra me dia mamo ayo Nyankopon asem. Owi en what verse 12 me say se nipa bi ewo mosutumi yi bia ye ni ensin won nana edi Paul person o say Corinth for no like ayemonwo no ene niema bia no mo wo asempakafo ne asomafo no se omo behwe no ma hwe omo yie okay yan to aso kakra owi en wo be ka say nanso ya amfa sa tumi enye de yen ara ye pe na ye wo kwan no ye wo sa tumi ze ke ye gimu hobru bi ba se de wo Nyankopon asem ne bekodi ahyase ne de ya amfa tumi wo nyame de amai because nyame say ade na ye ye ne no hu de nidie ba ya amfa hamo enu ti na ma Paul to da bia wo say o de ne nsa eye adwuma se de won be ya ade so ama asafo no Paul che se na nyi kwan se wo gi no ho kwan se wo gi bibi fi church no but ye beduru no so but na ye asafo na hyase you know maybe was ma hamo na mum no ho kwan but ma hamo verse 13 munim se one na wo ye asordan on na wo twe won adwene ko the Old Testament ya na wo mo mate ase se wo hwe empo se ye ebinum suahunu tie no a ye wo ye adwuma e wo asordan ho no de eba asordan ho no wo ye dey odidie ejo wi no make conclusion say sa arana tie asam no sa arana awurade nso ahyehye se emra command o ne hia no eji o make an argument na honhom no nam Paul so ka say we enye me Paul na me hyehye o wasi awurade nso ahyehye se
those who preach
waka asempa no wo munye dai o munide ho
ni asempa no
ya wi asem ne kan elizame yo asempa kan ya emfasudie biara afra asempa kan mu aba no etwa se enwo ho na meye dai medidie eji awurade na ahye nyame na mahye Paul amia le ze awurade na ahye eji eye asempa kan no ana ma asafo ne bae because who preach ya nipa beji adi na Onyankopon de o ma beka asafo no ho The word di bone ebe jai bone ye, it's because of the gospel. It's one na ebe ni na no na masempa no so na preacher there. Ense se what take that. Ense se we ye pulpit preacher. Information center wo krom, radio wo krom, a mountain so ense ye te won ka wo kro na wo mu. Enye 2 weeks and akos lasa for no. As a preacher there we adwuma am ye ka ho. Me mo yenye preacher ono no 2 weeks no aba no abeke kansem kakra bi no okọ. Chi se sika gigye ene animonyam hunu enya no ne ye ka. Preacher what for adwuma say wo ye ne se de nyame asem ka. Enti Bible says that dia wo ye no ehun fasodie bi a apa no etwa se odidie. Why the church giving was sorry am giving cause is a preacher. Giving cause the preacher it na ka cheme nye. Preacher it na ka cheme nye. Enti owie no say what kan ba bi a wo say aboa na ye de ne plow asase no. Ye de ne twa aburo no. So ye kekere na no e ma aburo no won wibi. Aburo no wibi enye.
Verse 8. Verse 8.
What the farmers also?
Or say verse say verse 7 or say whoever goes to war and pays his own expenses. Verse 7. Who plants vineyard and does not eat of its fruit? Who tend the flock and does not drink of the milk of the flock?
Good.
Questions.
Me ka ye nipa fam na emra no so ka nso sa verse 9. Na wa twen mo simra no mu se enchechiri na ntwi a wore pro aburo no ano. Wona ntwi no ne ho hia onyankopon. Ana se yenti ana waka sa. Question. Na ma preach giving apostle so for ka twa da ho be mfie mienu. Onso so GS ni oh, your bank manager, ye be to akatwe. Mun say inflation goes high. And you to akatwe. Preacher there, near da. Near da, on there ya chechere na no. O kan pay your pesika sem. Menka se sika ni preachers in America. But the local church to see their responsibility to the preacher. Because the scripture no na kan. Eti preachers abe mo boni na ne say we have gotten those who are not spiritually minded leading the lost church. Say asoro no ye nya mema enim twese mu ani animu a ye tete preacher na ye ma preacher yo no enya akono. Because on one Bible context we ask it no apply. Now last week me kan ujuma die je say we obi biara nya medi na adwuma abesi wo na obeye kwansidie ama adwuma ne nkoso no wona mu problem. Ya na nyoma bi nkoye we be say na brabo. O dey Church of Christ body to form. One na who teaching Trinity. No what when any see preaching work na so no. Aya no ma wie ye nyefe. For the two from Church of Christ bia de onim bia am say for the two. One na waje aso mo am ntumi preach o. O ntumi nchechire ye onim hwe. Na so ye teaching Trinity ye kofa preacher hey. Ye church preacher ka hey. Oh, say ni panda bia wo ha wo wiase mu. Untumi nsi nyame adwuma kwan o. Eti yemfa we nsua bribi mesre ye kan na se wo nyame makwan se preacher assess wo didie. But question is what are we considering? And no mabe ne se ye hwe e wo preacher no. Ma me mfa no na me mbobo bi so. Ansa na obako no. Ma me mfa akonye so nka hwefo se bi abobo ho wo sa kwan. Ma me ka hwefo se you medie no live drop a question or comment section you be hunu ni akama. We are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube, and then we are live on Twitter. So what these social media handles are, you enter, we will say, you're streaming live on all these platforms at the same time. It's the no saying. So when the Facebook, you can just switch it off and go to YouTube. You see that YouTube is streaming, and I'll call Twitter, and so at the same time, we are streaming there. And say, oh, drop a question, oh, YouTube, Facebook, you will see it. Twitter won't allow, but I'll drop YouTube and Facebook, you will see it. Question and no comment, I will. Maybe the question about comment about what Mamen Kenkan Yimano Kusi. I see most Ghanaian preachers do not receive salary, but rather a support. So comfort J1 so J1 sorry comfort J1 so share and a comedy
Swahili was about on social. You know, or drop a comment in the comment section or question in the comment section. We be acknowledge na ya kaya ma. No say I'm fan so abi wo YouTube. I'm for YouTube. Also wo or the abi wo. And tini na o wa eguso. Ana mahu Kumasi Central Church of Christ. Say the question. I think this is a question. Was it who employs the preacher? God, church, or the preacher search committee? Hey, question really. Richard, we yano. Go on our council.
Yeah, answer. Yeah, koye.
Ayakoya, ubemwa yano. Bemwa yano. Ntina dia o kan first see answer na yamra question.
Mo ejidia meka ni na say so wo hwe Bible kwan so a wose obi biara wo ye nyame asempaka adwuma na asempaka no ho no eno ho no odidie ba bia mbese ye de ka ho na ye di si ansa na ya toa so no ye 2 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 8. 2 Corinthians chapter 11. Kan ho mame verse 8.
2 Corinthians chapter 11. 11 verse number 8. What did verse say?
2 Corinthians 11 verse 8.
8 to say, I rob other churches, taking wages from them to minister to you.
Mo na mame kan twi ne nkyerɛ mame kan twi no o say Paul e kan no kasabebuo mu e de kyerɛ wo mo na nkyɛ sɛ okowia like stealing na nyesa mame kan brofo no na yemfa asempro o say me fa asafu binom ade se akatua se me de mere besom mo Corinth church. It's not some baka for jakatua na munya akatua. She need to wages. Unim. So what wages no, I see there are difference between wages and salary. I don't know. Maybe nimbrofo no. One article to write on the dictionary tone. But me kakra me mask kakra me nim ni say ye ka wages as e no ban terms ne salary. Wages like 2 weeks. Oh. And as we ya na de wa de amount. We ya adwuma 1 hour no na de wakatua usika amount. But salary ni de o twan ya kosi bia month no awie ana 2 weeks awie but wages na say a bantam. So but Paul we use the word wages. It means was a bakani no e breaking grind o hia na katua ntam o hia katua nkasa yenya support na me no be friend dia nyam na hia me no see obe friend support to me na ye bro me yem fa friend 20
yeah Richard
wages
mama ka you can cram fa ho. I think that omo baby support ni free no, this is where it is coming from. You see say we cannot really put an amount of the work, an amount of money on the work that the preacher is doing. In this sense, you see, osapakani ne dwuma ya akra ho dwuma. Jesus say akra ba ku see. Osombo chen we are seeking na. So idea was that the preacher is doing so much work that the dwuma no you can't, if you say a wage or a salary, then it means that a dwuma, this is what befitting. I just say be a single spine good if you are degree me or that is so that is the idea. I think say maybe or more is the concept of say well is we are supporting you, not salary no came from. But on the black side and on the back side no, it affected many Ghanaian congregations. They say we are supporting you, therefore now we pick a credit there.
You pay the amount.
Utanya ekura no a or the share bi mu kwade adomo tabletop your point ya na akan kakra bi na unsem wa hwa ne
yeah beba so no ase me kan ene se no nko akra na metumi aka ho asem ade besi eno hia me papa amafo ye bu sebi ye sisi asem paka o de owusra tran na me kan asem eno na me be ka ho asem ne oh the way I to be ye tua ya asem paka fo ne kan na nya ni monyam hye oh
yeah
ya sore man ye mu sebi I don't know, but I had make first point in this is a preacher deserves to be paid.
Yeah.
Send your other friend wages. So other friend support too. So other friend salary. A preacher needs to be cared. As I show was sempakani man who a come. One number who say yes or sempakani. As a friend of my board church and about to say you were doing it now. Because I'm cross so sick and I'm preaching. But you have done your best. You have done what you can do. Nipa na be say my famudi na me no work am myself. And yeah, sorry, only 200. And to boy, 5,000, 6,000 a week. And mutia preacher 500 cities. How wicked you are. And yeah, sorry, I'm not 2-story building. Giving a week about 5,000. Meaning church book myself. Now then time when we weekly giving 5,000. No mutia preacher can 900 Ghana cities. Wickedness. Preacher no banso sample school. Go to your fees. Or quite sorry new school. No mujini school canteen. And a preacher can or bonenia as in his humor. How wicked na it be a leadership ni be. Minkazi na a binomoye. I'm sorry, a weekly giving 5,000. Now your preacher can 900. Insurance become 1,000. Kumasi abonten. No Kumasi kron kesi ni bimu. I don't know about school. Ne maya 4 cra. Who did there be a obini 10 cities? I don't know how school. When you did heaven, no matter me can be as a certain penny for be brave. See, answer sign your ya. And your bonny of 1 go with them, Moya need preaching. And sorry, man, a certain penny for be brave, super common same. I'm telling you, I jump bonny, it's a sort them horn, said the uncle boy, Jamani now. But as a preacher, Betty dear, preacher shot at the park, it is cannot go on as a rather bananich na ya. Now, Maumia Sampacania war ye, Mania Quadrino war ye, man. What that come? It is said the Sebium Prediasa. What's it dress? I'm not saying. And then I make us say, Paul say, on what Giacatia and all the bay according to form what Juma. It means that as a preacher, we deserve a wage, we deserve a pay, we deserve a support. No better friend be. But you can say whether a support to, whether a wage, whether a salary, you can say share ne share some pakani ni ye. Na mami fa we info. Obia Nyankopon go can say church bia fa preachers to anakra now for an hour. So one pen and to me afana mahweni ya, it is better than taking two and cannot provide them, care for them properly. But what does a preacher's salary or support or wage entails in this 21st century? And I bet I'm about what does it entails? What's your separate katia? If you can't katia now, you can't wage and now you can't support it. Is a one. As a preacher, you're thinking about the health condition. The health. Which me ayare at any time. Kasa na ye tiatim ni na no. They say very big cancer, say throat cancer, say lung cancer, say preachers be brain bi.
You can lose your voice. Wait till you call it
lose your voice.
Yeah.
Edi near ye de man no. Ya dwen na pom den. 2. Ebi na de yem tumi mas ye hwe prayer. 2. Ne daachi to say. To be preaching and consider.
Yeah.
A preacher cannot. Or do age beer. But the preacher and I answer them or quite business. You cannot to me, you cannot cheat nature. And this a that one to me and to a human should be more. A dear no any ma a could dear. Have you think about the preacher's pension? 3. Preacher we should consider inflation. You ready we no man crow and no man policy kwesifa. You we so we ma we consider the rene ma yem factor no enko ni yire ni ma adwuma omoyo enye wase de. What the any say the yire ni ma nya adwuma omoyo adwuma nso anya wasem. Sika ye de mo sempakani as a man, as a head of the family. Sika ye de money e betumi ahwe fie. Ebetumi ama no nani age. 4. Obi a person preacher ho ye fe. Ni shoe we am bedi na tem. Have you considered his clothing? Nentari shemu atizai. Church no, the sika mo de ma no mo factor is say ye mana bro so na daach mo tumi bi atata de pa bi. Ade ahye. Ana preacher do sha atade papa nye. Mama kan rewo se mi jira na ma to factors na e coincidence. Many preacher be dim come out what Tafokano so. Na me koye lectureship bi wo preacher and his work. Sisani yesu. Na da no omanya new preacher. Na da me preaching. Mini mo me be ranu mo. Me preaching papa. Me na papa no bonani anu wosu. Because na de wa kama asema me. Then ta wo na so ne ba sa program ni bi. Akwa Tafokwan no so na mkoye sa adwuma die. No say maka na asema man. Na wo yo obi a church no ona eno omo be oni aso bi na be sha ase no onya akoma so be boa church. Why ye adwuma wo kwa che? Onka se church no fa no kan na go say church ni so. Si asem na make ni you. Omo timi aka asase. Abobo your friend is say omo sisi pillars abo so kra som ho kama. And omo high single room I'm a preacher. On in the map 4. Near can home that single room. The money you know when you rant into tente, suffer when you plywood. One has single room I'm a preacher and the man penny for 4 and a devil. And I say yes, it's good. And no company for a come from a big crank and I'm up 2-bedroom, mammy. My money. As long as you almost to me now, they are almost see me house. It won't mean an internal way, we are a fine idea. And as often as a mission to mention it must have a ton be crack. Tio, when the Sackman from young king tell us so pass, said Bisa. I was a body be crack quite manner. Also, like a crack and even in a man said, Dan, come up about what I hope to be a day. I can't. I saw him when Yanimbe say, yes, offer tongue day. Yes, offer the Yoma question. It once I am Premount on I argue over Tony a pound. Jamaica ye. Men Pessamaya, this one mass of me deep park a crack. Now they are one when him a bush answer. Son, Church of Christ BTO. Yea, I am Malcolm Mount Yeg may be uncommon. Yes, so I am ye. I didn't hear tossment a year before. Ye blocks. A nippon cement. One and here. And as a bacafo bebre, I am no, Sempacani say champion, near the Sicani share concrete. No preach on it all. At long last, we do 50-60 no than a year for. I do not know big giant, there's a giant will be DNT. Not still the for so preach, now you're in a year works. Minia, and this year, Council Bacania catch ya. There are a lot of things we should factor into it. Correct? Offer preachers bebre wo kumasine Accra Montenso ne here Ghana dey fa Ghana. Preachers bebre ye man pese e be preachers. I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah, and correct.
But when you come to America, baby, omo preacher here no. Every preacher's son wants to succeed his father. Why? For Pentecost, menka se fa nkoto to omo. But Pentecost suffer baby person be suffer. Obeso be suffer. Because you make adwuma ya akono. You make adwuma be ye fe. What about Church of Christ? Yes, ye to me o. Ye kuta no kra na the papa be na ke to me o. But ye won penifo bi ho am ya bro. Ye won penifo bi am ya wudifo. Am dwen cement ho chen nipa nkwa ho. Ye di scan kwa to cement abego, ye di bopilers, ye di sisi school, ye di kosi hospital, ye ton saase egu ho, ye di ko Gold Coast. Na nyame atwa o mo kana Gold Coast egu, na scan na shim. Because the Church of Christ will be bracing card. Was not so for catch you. What do
you mean men's gold and I go coast?
So I park with syndrome near Fancy. Gold Coast.
Yeah, I've forgotten the exact name.
I'm also Church of Christ will be
GN Bank. You mean GN Bank?
Bank, no more yet, or yet investment be. Hey, no, yet bank, no. What do you be our Ghana? No, your investment become near Gold Coast. The dear and son of men's gold, but I don't know the oldest our Ghana. What do you say? Your own remove. Church of Christ will be bracing alcohol on it. And some kind of men's gold, even. And so, correct answer no music at the home. A Siko preacher. Siko Muchamu preacher. And Jonathan, this topic is very, very serious. May can any breath about my preacher pen? My preacher, meaning I preached in Ghana for 10 years. Even if I be a musanti, me preaching for 10 years. Me no, me ni be quite preacher. Anante, your friend on Natuti, you only be a Mabuni. Nat. Many Nat nanti free bakwa on the farm teaching Church of Christ. Muna me Church of Papa Bia and Church of Christ. Preacher Nat na teaching me I'm going to share teaching mine. So only no me body this one huna. And some me ba barekese. Barekese so many preacher upon brenya. Ebet 9 ne bana me no kwa afuo minim preacher situations o mu kom. And some me ba offense wa begin tete o. Edi me life mu many preachers na atena me di preachers fie, other preachers fie nim ne preachers ma won yire no mu kom. And some me asa me be preacher for 10 good years. The topic where I dear to my heart, it's my main cancer. Oh, and you only my backwards, no, you only my backwards, better social media. I go here, no, again. Preachers are suffering in Ghana.
Yeah,
some preachers are going through hell in Ghana in the preaching world.
Well, in fact, it's not. So if I should put it in percentage wise, maybe just a minor 5% to be na they are not in dire need. They are not in there, but most of them are in dire need. And then man can't cry. That is most of them. Majority of them are in dire need. Say, I think Makana had that, but it's worth repeating. Then now can me to the same thing. I live among preachers. A lot of them among preachers. And so my father was preaching in Tikakaka. So I saw those kind of pictures. Like I said one time, we were inside. And there was a church brother who was living with us. Church brother and the na but baby no puma baby I made down puma ebe jana kasa so they were talking about preacher no me look at it preacher no they were talking about him apparently they were complaining that and they were talking so bitterly say now na preaching. I mean the person is not a preacher, they are a preacher. But because Sunday drew a Papa Nama Pines a Sunday drew, Bema will preach it. In Jama, the congregation, member our congregation has developed the thinking, say, young one are preaching. In the young one, young first animal, sort of. In the Papa bread, Papa, he still preaches anymore. He still preaches in that same local congregation. He is suffering. He's suffering. Sometimes when you were dinner, like, when a brabo and any man and their life and their livelihood, the almost here will be a young man unima dear pass it uncle. And this one it don't happen. So we'll teach of Christ to chat or yes, or chat straight A's. We'll say, okay, well, maybe we'll chat our being palm and Nico preaching school. No, they know that I mean humanity. And that has crippled the church. So many of them are suffering. Now, I've read letters where preachers were writing to Abofua. The letters in effect was begging them to send us money. But not meeting and say there were white men among us who are telling us that they are supporting black preachers in Africa here. And it's abandoned. Black preachers, Africa, Ghana preachers,
blacks, preachers.
Yeah, Ghana for Nanga preach away.
As long as can go investment, this can go investment, not preach at that.
So it's sad. And we are not where most of our preachers are. You look, just go back to their church pension. So Chamu be 60 kwa Nana Brabwan. I say ne manent me nyina yie pa na asamaba na brabo wo so bi so terrible na bia se men kasa adom no ama na free wi asentem a odimi di be 90 years na otewo from the time obejai preaching no ti na otime di be 90 years na ne mani bi na aso no kwa be pam na free bank asori dem ho ma akope ni wan bia na so their future always. Now they say now we can say quite about to chew we can kwanya ni munyansem. Okwa ya kan hye wonsem. Anani en kan hye wonsem.
Me dey na me say ma sem odi nti nfa me hye me sem. Me ma me kan pay. Unti ma me hye me sem. Na ya bank, I'm the far bank.
Okay. Most congregation now on the fatness. On the man is set table.
Ya the sham be boom. Kwesi ada pon aso ya na da be hye wonsem. Edi ya nwene wo da ache ho na America edi there are a lot of things that church say etie yen mo hwe yen no consider it. Preacher no sabio ahukyere nti woman is kabia wan ha obege but ma monye ne sa momfa bi nto o ma ne pension ehiame. Every preacher deserves a social security. We deserve pension pay. So social security crowd na mafa no. E ma say me say teacher donko. Me bo social security dada esuofia fa me no. Me mo ye insurance policy because na me say me sa ko tua senate bi. Enti e bia mafa obi wasan ya work kakra kan ho sa ni ko enya wasem asore nya wasem ene ya adwuma ba bia wo ye na ehwe ne daachi asore bia ntumi nye daachi policy emma wo mo sempa kan ni say yare betumi aba stroke ya kasa betumi achi anytime ye betumi anya throat cancer ye betumi anya yare adawa ye sori aye ntumi nsori e die na me ne me yere ma ne me ma bedi kosi se mewuo asore no mo dwene daachi munya se mo yam da hyam bipum da koma no kodene e da wase no no so ahukyere nti waje asofu bebre ntumi nsebu because anyoma egu yeso no mama one example bi me wo asuofia na mti mission house na we are ti mission house crowd air time na asuofu what mission house a ne dene obi aba na obi o fridge mu asore ma ne ba ha gra so for fridge ya ko biem what dem say so we jam ya wa hwa wan hour no kra nso ne me aba bi so for fridge mu se na ira ye den enkwan ye hwie so for anka ye bedi mango ye bedi we ye bedi na ye bi mission house tra no na sa wa so dan no na ye de na suofia de ne ye wo mu ze ma mfa no nche o se ne ben prisons among from prisons yes and ye yi wo mu a no akwaji kaska
wa
wo sane ya so dan no ho oba no e ni mobomobo me beda mu ha na metie wo preaching power information center sesi ya yi mi se mi nkofie sofo kaska obi anye hu aso ne samboard oba ya mehwe sofo o se wo ti aso dan na ho it everything preachers at mission house this is what they are going through so omo no mo yekura benya bia di da no se omo wo bi ni bi obi be ba be sere wo amanfo ba hwa e ba minim so at mission house dia omo ba hwa so what aso dan ho
yeah me ti aso dan ho yeah
the preachers be brand to me say akatua ne nye enti wan san nye pension pay amano a da chin wo da hwa e de no wo nkodie enti obo ha 70 years still no for so preach asore se wonko o se wonko na etwintwintwan na etwintwan e komuntia na mutumi ye ne pension ma no ma ye nhyehyeye ojae a wo kwa se de etu aban adwuma ye nika e wo ne mkokra bomu sa ne e de ntina ko be ye asore twintwan se memko e koma ya wo akoma ya yasempa kani bia na zodi dwuma die tu hoyi bra wo bintia na ka yasempa ka fo na komde wo mu na wo mfa nto won ne mfa ti so owu ato pulpit ni ti so owu atom wo mfa ne dwuma die nto enti ya metwe churches and leaders need to say they should be spiritually minded and think about the future of the preacher na yenyai ye hunamu adwene niema preachers e bre na ma dwuma ne nya akonno na mrantie ni jai no yensesa o de na yenkasa we no kwa Christ na enti ye clothing so for no so car so a me nuama menkanka ho o bicycle kra yenkanka ho o motor a yenkanka ho church na factor ni transportation so for be concert to be kra ni boto munye me emre be me ka kire so fi afọ ma me no nche enya ade eze dizie o se o concert so for concert aya na emre wafo no undumi emmọ mpae mo mo saa na hongo ana anya betu botom ana jiwe to nsuo 20 bi bako 10 cedis 15 cedis endi mi teacher na makodi enwa akatwia no mi di koye 15 10 15 10 20 15 10 20 wa me yere babu mi fie awana me ka kire o mo se efri na ekọ me konsasa asoro baba akọ kam ne yekọ ne ebubo bibia hye o mo nsem a ebe firi asoro kofesi edi me konsasa me say asori ba 1 million to her this week e be konsasa e be ko ni part time so ye kwa 10 cedis ni e be to mo nsem a enye meme boto me be free preachers ni be brem to me nkasa ya numum eye nyame dwuma na wo koye o nti nyame sika na se di bi yo ye di na ko ye free boto ma ho akwa kire Why individual no was said no wadoye and the men can say we are body. But say we na sorry ni din it should be financed by the church. And the church leaders want to say so from concert dia mo man bibim to no bottom okwa woni asoro banante won trade from farmer enfanya adoye. When now you need to factor it into preacher's salary or wages. Ba mo fan kan ni aso adwuma bebre egu so kwa ha construction kwa hospitals kwa way so for be for car so for be for moto so for be for bicycle ni na ye mani bibi kakra men kan se mo fa ni na ma no ba bibi kakra so for to petrol egu kem ni na ye nkan ho he it is an ye ka sempaka ni akatua me de na make ni na ni say these are some of the things that we should also factor. Lastly, man fan kan adia ba ko say the factor so eye ni nimdie ye di bibi kakra be kan ho de to books or de be call lectures nimdie esa nimdie so te ba za be so maintaining na da bia o hia nkrata da bia o so sua de da bia e so we say enti sika na ye de ma preacher no ye de kakra bi kan ne aganye so for ya fa to books sua de no wan to ayetumi ye wanintwi bi ayetwi no so ya so for sermon ye wan ne sermon ye wan book be na so na to de ama ne say o mfa sua de oh enti Jonathan, and my main cancer, what am I fancy? These are some of the things that we should factor into preacher's salary. Menka say kakraka, but the church should do the best.
Yeah,
not say it word. We should do our best. So the preaching work na ya kono. Na imrantie any dachi preachers in yamoboni ya kojia homia. Ye beko na nije. Bi say ye nyame dwuma. Tikakra meka.
Yeah, your questions are about. In fact, Bakuba earlier, but we couldn't answer that. We are from Kumasi Central COC. I presume maybe a Being Church of Christ, someone from there. Was it who employs the preacher, God, church, or the preacher search committee? Into you are not a
way you make kind. Me fakre fra pamda de mami na no tiawa. Adwuma ne ye nyame na di adwuma na besi ho. Ba wonna masafo no so ne ma approval of men. Me sisu bio. Adwuma ne ye nyame adwuma. Nenso ordinam church ne so enye committee bia me committee bia ni Bible. I am talking as a Bible student. Me Bible me ni committee bia abra asomafo no eyi nipa baaso se nyame dwuma no. Omo na so kire church no se omo hwe omo. Timothy, Paul, man of the qualification of elders. Waka say church no wanka committee bia. Enji church name the way and the means a local church name so the preacher, but it should come from the approval of the church. A jumani ye nyame juma, but nyame na masoro so and the fasten pateni. Anu yam the man.
Yeah, we Amelia, so good evening, brethren. Good job. Anna Diana Dobia from YouTube and also say God bless you, God servant. A couple someone so I say God bless you, Richard and Jonathan. Emmanuel Kusinso say God will punish most church leaders punish for treating most preachers very bad with regards to their support. This is a big issue to be discussed at length. Yo, Emmanuel Kusinso say, oh, a couple studied by Bimos, the agony of preachers in the lost church. We value the church building than the welfare of the preacher. Is it wrong for the church to contribute snitch for their preachers' welfare? And the question that Obisa. And I'm also being so reply no. Master, what are you saying is not true. It's not true. I couldn't read that. I couldn't make sense out of it, but it's not true. Not true. You tell us one or two Church of Christ have saying, well, a couple started the woman. I think it was the interaction between the two. Was it saving at the bank is not evil. And I'm also Emmanuel Kusin so at the bedroom looking at what we are doing now. Can the local church employ a full-time preacher? Full-time preacher, and local church can employ a full-time preacher. How come 120 people can take care of one preacher? How come
can't take care of
can't take care of one preacher? Well, the church needs to be responsible to their preachers. Well, and James will say, yes, you are totally right. You say, we comment but say na make her phone a live show until drop a comment in the comment section. You are live on Facebook, live on YouTube. Unsubscribe to Chariot TV. I'm more than not subscribe to Chariot TV. Your YouTube, your Facebook, your Twitter. Subscribe. Just check Chariot TV. A bit by just subscribe, and if there's a notification bell, hit the notification bell. Me fa akonya nso akai ahwefo nyina say your program be a super holiday day and we are just Friday fortifying the faith lectureship, fortifying the faith. Yeah, in the Canadian Church of Christ. You can say about the elder and the preacher issue. Sorry, Ghana. You know, there's a big issue in Ghana now. Elder preacher, it is a big issue. And yes, I can say about can there be a Christian outside the Church of Christ? And also, someone about instrumental music, singing groups in there. We are talking about them on Chariot. So you're streaming live on Chariot TV platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and the best streaming so Canadian Church of Christ. The congregation that you made in Canadian Church of Christ. Their annual lectureship. December 1st, we go there and we do that. So, but more than click it to subscription, subscribe, notify. Send a call live. I also be to many. So, mark your calendar. Just mark your calendar on 1st December. Roughly 8 o'clock going. And the best say we'll stream live and have a nice program. Send a also be to me. The film now, boy. But Richard, last comment. Send a baby to me.
The last comment is the welfare of the preacher is dear to God. In the end, we say, "Yabehwena Yahweh Yasempa kanfo ye." Enye ne obedi ne nko but daje se okwa ahomgye mu nso a ye obedie ye obenom ye obehwe na busua moma yenye asafo a ye dwene nipa ye die ho esene de aka ni nara aha ena mde mu besi nyame wo nhira.
Yeah, asidan koma o pasa ojibre na obebo aye bra Richard na asidan koma won so a ojibre na oba live. In fact, ene kra no man share link. Me who yan say nyanom abawrem. I don't know how nyanom share, but more than now subscribe or subscribe. Say be a call live pay. You get a chance of also entering. Now so etimi aboa ama Kristo asempa no etimi edru nipa sum. I don't do me at the sene. The best share you media Jonathan Mensah Bonsu, preacher and his work and the yeka ho asem. Makra obi biara. Bye bye.